What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with the next Might and Magic video. Today we're going to take a break of our PvE grinding so that we can talk about the arena for the first time on our channel. Okay, now if you guys have not seen, or maybe you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. We put out quite a few videos over the past few days to get you guys started in the PvE world, but now we're going to do a little bit of focus in the arena. We've set a defense in order to kind of push our rank up a little bit, and so it's going to give us an opportunity to test out some of the people that we see in this next league, which we're in Bronze 2 right now. I was able to finish Bronze 1 rank 4 last week, so I was pretty excited about that. Honestly, I was going to stay relatively low, but it ended up being that I had this kind of thought in my mind about this video, so I'm like, okay, let me set a full defense on, let's see what happens. And I woke up with like 500 extra points or something like that. It was nuts. So naturally, I moved into the Bronze 2, and as you can see, I'm more than qualified to talk about some tips for you guys in this video, as we've had a little bit of struggle. But for everything that happens, there is a reason for that. And for me to be able to give you guys an opportunity to learn from my mistakes so that we can kind of move forward with this is going to be really, really cool. Okay. So first tip that we got to throw out there, as much as you might be a competitive player in the PvP world, right? Forget about PvP. Focus on PvE, right? It seems kind of ironic talking about a arena video, but basically what I'm saying is set a weak defense and attack weak defenses, okay? Do everything in your power to get yourself those reputation points up above so that you can use those to take into the magical shop and get yourself as many skill books as you can, okay? Magical books. Those are the books that you're going to need for skilling up and evolving your creatures, so you can get that every 3 days on top of all the achievements, the events, the dungeons that you can clear to get those. It's very, very important to get you, because again, you need that resource for 2 different aspects of a game. Okay, so super important. Okay, now moving on to the next one, PvE versus PvP. This is something that we talked about in games that I've played in the past. While it's super exciting to get up in there, get your new units, and like, oh yeah, I just got this new Nat 3, Nat 4, let me go into the arena and crush everybody, right? No, we can't be doing that. What we need to do is take the time to collect the glyphs that we can through the scenario stages, through those glyph dungeons, so that we can get ourselves at a position to have a decent amount of stats in order to be competitive in the arena, okay? Regardless of what teams that we're probably going to see, and again, we might see a lot of Visa swipers up in there with a lot of Nat 4s, but if they don't have the glyphs to back them up, we're going to take advantage of them, okay? So definitely don't rush the process. It's going to be there. Just make sure that you're always clearing your arena rings so that you can go ahead and get those magical books, okay? Now, what we'll do is we're going to be talking about my arena offense team and what the plan of action is for us, because that's basically the next thing that we want to go ahead and address, right? Synergy. Okay, synergy when it comes to arena offense. Now, arena offense versus arena defense, the focus needs to be on arena offense, because that is what you're going to do in order to get all your reputation points. Even though you can get yourself, higher ranking and whatnot here, the reputation points are going to be coming from the offensive side. So it makes sense to go ahead and, if you are looking to be competitive, invest in the units that you have available. Now, what I did this time around is, instead of trying to glyph up like 13 other creatures, I basically focused on 4 to 5 different units that synergize well, that I've already built to clear PvE content, okay? Now, up above, we'll start from the top left, moving to the right. And then actually we'll start right above me, and then we'll kind of move around in the clockwise fashion. So right up above me, we have the Fire Arcane Bird. This unit is pretty godly for a 3-star unit. He's an attack bar booster that provides an attack buff for 1 turn and a 25% boost to the team. And then he also has a buff that provides elemental advantage towards the whole party, in addition to providing an AoE poison for 2 turns, okay? A really, really amazing unit, okay? And then right up above him, we have the Freezing Basilisk, aka the Water Basilisk. This is one of the 3 out of the 4, one of the 3 basilisks that are really, really good starting out of the game if you're fortunate enough to pull it. He has a 1-turn, 100% activation freeze on his 3rd skill, as well as a single target blind on a 2nd skill. So the 3rd skill can actually be increased to a 2-turn freeze. So when you think about arena, getting the 1st turn with our attack bar booster, right, and then using a freezer for 2 turns, this is going to make things really, really easy to control your opponent, right? So again, early on at the game, there's not going to be a lot of investment into the glyphs per se, or the resistance or immunity glyphs, so to speak. So as long as we get the 1st turn, it should be a pretty good chance of us locking it down, okay? Speaking of locking down, the unit up above to the right, that's the Air Giant. That's my natural 4-star that I got a while back. Now this one, is definitely a super strong unit when it comes to PvP. Now, he has a AoE taunt with a silence attached to it. And just to kind of put it out there, taunting in this game, even though it provides a taunt and you can taunt an opponent, that opponent still can use whatever skills is available. So if that unit has an AoE skill, even though he has to target the units that taunted, he can still do damage towards the entire party if that unit has an AoE, right? So this one here has a taunt with the silence attached to it, so even if they attack him, they're not going to be able to use their main skills. They're going to have to stick with the first skill. In addition to that, he has a shelter buff that reduces the damage by 40%, in addition to having to reflect, all on the same skill. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the quality of some of these units out there. There's so many different mechanics in these units that it really is going to make things pretty exciting when you guys get into the higher stages of Arena. Now, his second skill has a chance to do a good amount of damage. It does great damage. Let me get that twisted right now. But it also has a chance to reset the opponent. So between my freezing, my poisoning, and then of course my resetting ability, whatever type of CC that I miss on an opponent, I can use certain abilities like his second skill to go ahead and basically lock that unit down, not allow them to use any of their abilities if I feel like they're pretty strong, okay? And then to follow up the last spot here, this is going to kind of go inside with the Fire Arcane Bird. Now, this spot was originally filled by the Air Assassin, okay? But now, he is actually the newest unit that I've gotten. You guys saw in the last summoning video, Earthfeather Core, which basically is a better version of the Air Assassin, providing ourselves not just an AoE poison that hits twice for 2 turns, 2 ticks per turn, and then we have his second skill that provides a debuff that amplifies the damage by 40%. So similar to that second skill on Air Giant, you know, I got a really nice second skill that I can put on an opponent to allow me to take them out relatively quickly. Of course, the Air Giant skill is going to be more of a, I can't take him out, but I can reset his abilities to kind of put him at bay. With this one here, I'll be able to put it on and just try to knock out the opponent really quickly. So again, we're going to get that first turn with our Fire Arcane Bird. We're going to use our taunting and silencing from the Air Giant. Then I'm going to follow up with some poisons, and once the taunt is down, I will use the freeze on the Basilisk to lock him down for even 2 more turns, and then, you know, just hopefully kind of focus on one and just knock him out one by one here. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. That's the focus here. But without further ado, let's get right into it, right? So here, the next tip that we want to kind of talk about when we look at a defense, so to speak, is now we've took a look at the strengths of our team, but we, in addition to talking about the strengths of our team, we need to focus on the weaknesses as well. We need to realize that whatever strategy we have, there are some things that can hard counter it, or that can really set us back. So considering that I'm going YOLO, I'm all about, you know, crowd control. Obviously, any particular unit that provides any kind of immunity or any kind of cleanse is something that I have to be pretty concerned about. And of course, at this stage of the game, there's a lot of new units out there that we really don't know about. So this is going to be a great opportunity to take every single battle that you do and make sure that you're paying attention to what the units are doing. If you have any questions about that unit or wondering why they did what they did, you can take a look at it, come back over to the menagerie to pull it up and see. It's like, wow, I just got wrecked by this unit, right? Like, what in the world is it doing? Okay, so again, it's just as important not to just to understand the strengths of your unit, but also the weaknesses, because obviously the last thing you want to do is go into a fight and go into something that is going to have a ton of sustain or a ton of, you know, cleanse or resistance or whatever like that, that is basically going to set you back. Okay, now next one up, we're going to do this match here, and we'll see if we can take this down here. Now, even though this guy has a water, I think this is the Water Necro or the Water Death Knight here, the vampire. The thing of it is that you'll definitely see as you move up in the ranking a lot of people that got super fortunate in their natural 4-stars. So that being said, like I said before, a lot of them got these great units, but they haven't really taken the time to invest in the glyphs. Now this guy actually might do it, but maybe we're going to have some good fortune here. Now, just to kind of give you an idea, my speed on my Fire Arcane Bird is about 140. In Bronze 1, the original league that I was at, 120 across the board on my units was actually pretty strong for the majority of the players that I took on. Now, in Bronze 2, I am having a little bit of a struggle. Not every time I'm getting the first turn, but it's definitely This definitely has been some challenging matches. So again, you can see a couple of his units are pretty darn slow. No investment into speed because they're literally at half bar after, and all my units are at full bar after putting the attack bar boost on. So right now we're going to go ahead and just lay down the poisons. It looks like this guy just hit me back, right? So again, first thing I'm thinking about, he has some kind of a counterattack, right? There's no type of glyph that provides any kind of counterattack, so I have to pay attention to some of those things, okay? Especially if the unit is evolved and has some strong skill on the first, like for example, he literally just taunted me, right, and silenced me. Now I can't do anything with him. So again, everything. If you are really like trying to, lock this game down and trying to learn a couple things, then just pay attention to everything that's going on. Okay. Now we missed the taunt. It looks like we taunted a few, but we missed a few silences. So we're actually going to still use our freeze. And then we're going to come back and line up our poisons. And now we're just going to take a look at the HP on some of these units here and see which ones we can focus on. I think the second one from the left we don't have to worry about. I'm going to go ahead, since I know what this guy can do as far as counterattack goes, we're going to go ahead and try to take him out. Now, that was kind of a mistake there. I put a blind on him, but he was already frozen, so it's really not going to do anything. Let me go ahead and work on this guy, put the hunted debuff on, and do more damage on him. Now, it looks like the Fire Nymph has an elemental defense buff, so this makes all of our units, I think, either neutral or weak to him, but that is okay. We're going to go ahead and just keep on working on it, give us the attack bars, and go ahead and work these units down. I think I want to keep on going on this one here. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to work on this Fire Nymph, just kind of knock him out here, and I think I have my AoE ability. I'm almost there yet for my AoE ability here. So once we get there, we'll go ahead and use it. Because as you guys know, in my compositions, I've been using a lot of support-based units and poisoners. So naturally, I'm not gonna have a lot of damage. So I'm gonna combat that with the Chimera build that provides me a little bit more damage here. So let's go ahead and get it in there. Take note that was 4K on the Fire Nymph, and if you see, even my strongest hit on the Air Giant was only 2500. So again, for some of you guys that are looking for a specific build, definitely take a look at the Chimera. It's pretty darn strong, especially if you're trying to clear content a little bit quicker. Okay, let's get up into the next match again. That one unit that we saw, we saw that counterattack with the taunt and the silence. We got to pay attention to that because maybe it's not going to be a great thing if we focus on that one early on, because if we get locked down, we're going to be in trouble, especially if it's a crucial unit for us. Okay, let's go ahead and get up into the next one here. Ooh, you know what? So, and this is a thing to point out. I cannot tell the color. I think I'm a little colorblind right now, but I think that's the Water Goblin Shaman, and not the Air one. The Air one, I already know has an amazing cooldown reduction ability, though, so it's super strong. But one thing to note here is this Fire Succubus on the left. Now, this Fire Succubus is probably one of the more stronger units out there, even that goes both ways in PvE and PvP. She has an ability that gives her an additional turn if you kill a unit, and then if you don't, you get a small attack bar boost as well as an attack buff and I think it's a speed buff in order to get back in there. So when you think about her as a potential farmer, she's really, really strong. And then naturally, if they made her relatively fast, which I believe her third skill or her second skill is based upon speed, that's really going to help her just cycle through her skills, right? So really unique unit. Now, this one up top, we got a Water Treant, which has a poison mail buff as well as a regen over time, and I think a defense buff. So they got quite a bit of sustain in this competition. However, I'm not going to hold back here. We're going to go ahead and get into it. This is going back and forth to what we were saying, right? This is generally not something we want to do, but from what I understand, the air goblin shaman is the one that has a cleanse, whereas these guys don't. So if I get the first turn and get this taunt, which we did, okay, then now we're gonna be in a really good position to take them out. So naturally, since I know this is an attack-based unit, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on her. I'm gonna focus on the Succubus on the left, and it looks like I have enough poison in order to take her out. So now we're gonna take a step and hit this natural 4-star here, and try to lock him down. Okay, so the 2-turn freeze is in. Now the poison dots are just going to come into play. Even though he's locked down, I'm just going to take him out right now and let the Water Treant be by himself. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see him. I was just going to try to put the blind on here, but I guess I could have saved it because he was locked down either way. So let's go ahead and buff up. Let's take this guy out, and let's go ahead and hit him out. Now we can auto it out. So again, for some of you guys out there, you're like, oh my goodness, right? Like, I just want to auto. Everybody's like, you know, when you move up, obviously there needs to be, you need to take a step back and try to get an understanding of this one. I know that it takes a little bit of time. So probably what we'll go ahead and do is we'll do one more match here before we close out the video. But as you guys can see already, we got a couple of matches and our reputation points are climbing up. That's the good thing about it. We're getting 5 reputation points a pop with 10 arena rings. I mean, that's a lot of reputation points that could be had. And if you're paying attention to how quickly they regenerate, you can easily get yourself that book every 3 days alongside, you know, some other items out there that you want. Okay, so let's see here. Now, again, some of the things that we want to kind of point out, if we already didn't say it already, like the understanding of your opponent, right? If they have something in their lineup that just screams like, oh my God, stay away from it, especially if they have like 2 or more counters to what you're trying to do, definitely try to avoid them. Now, this one here, to me, regardless of what these units do, these are 5-star, you know, units maxed out. I'm not even going to try to mess with it. He literally has a duplicate unit there that I think it's like one of the better, if not the better versions of it. I think that's the Ardent Justicar, if I recall correctly. So that's something we're going to avoid. Okay. Now this one here has, actually, I have not seen the unit on the left, but we have seen the Water Treant. And again, I think that's the Air Justicar there, as well as the Felicor. So this one could be a little bit of trouble, but I do not know if these guys got a cleanser. However, that's not going to hold us back from giving it a go, because whatever we do in this match, it allows us to learn from it, and then we can go ahead and review a particular unit afterwards. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can outspeed them, and pray to the RNG gods that they do not have any kind of immunity here. Okay, so again, we're getting the first turn. We're going to go ahead and try to provide the poison. Looks like we got a resistance here on the second unit. They wasn't able to resist just yet, so now we're just going to go ahead and kind of hit a little bit. We're going to let them do damage on our giant here. Now I'm definitely going to put our poison in and use our 2-turn freeze. I think I want to. I'm not like, I know that the well, I'm kind of thinking the Felicor is going to be a pain with the poison, but I don't understand what these other units are going to do, so I'm a little bit more worried about them, so I'm going to make sure that I kind of focus them down. Now, take note, this unit here is almost dead, so I think I want to go ahead and switch and just try to take it out here. Considering I have elemental advantage towards everybody due to my buff from the Fire Arcane Bird, I'm going to try to hit this unit pretty hard there, and we were able to do so. So let's go ahead and put the Blinding Spit on the Felicor, because if he does try his poisons, he's going to be you know, having a hard time landing them, right? Because he has a 50% chance to miss. We're going to leave him here. We're not even going to touch him. We're going to allow him to take his turn to see what happens here with the poisons. Okay, as you guys saw, the 50% chance came in full effect here, but now we got to deal with the possibility of getting poisoned because the Water Treant has a poison mail buff on him, so it has a 40% chance, I believe, to apply poison when we hit him. So for you know, any of our units that are going to directly target him, it can get a little bit crazy. Now, wow, I did not see what happened there, but that Water Treant apparently must be built with like 500 critical damage, because he done hit me for 5,300 damage. Of course, he's 5-star. This this may be pretty crazy. Now, let me go ahead and reset his skills, right? We obviously understand that this Water Treant was not held back when it comes to its abilities. But the cool thing about the Air Giant is that we have a stun mechanic on that first skill, so we can literally continuously stun him if we're lucky enough. And I'm just going to taunt. Oh, fail. Well, I taunted him, but we had the poison on either way. But that's the cool thing about the Air Giant. We have that second skill reset. We have the AoE. We have the AoE stun. Oh, sorry, the AoE taunt with the silence. And then, like I said, when in those crazy situations where we know that we're going to have a little bit of trouble, we have that 70% chance to stun on the first skill due to the evolve that I got, so I can kind of crowd control one of their stronger units and not allow them to do some of the things that Water Treant did. It was pretty crazy here. So now that being said, again, I want you guys to take a step back and you know, for the final tip here, anytime you take a win, obviously soak it up, but I want you guys to consider those losses, review the losses just as much as you do the wins. Okay, come back in here, stop into the menagerie, and if you find a unit that you had to deal with that was like you just didn't really understand. You were like, oh my gosh, like what does it do? Then go ahead and come back here and review it. Okay. Like I said before, we'll take it. This is one of the ones that it wasn't a natural 4-star, but this is definitely one that you will see a little bit in the arena considering its abilities. Okay. So let's take a look at that. That passive recovers a turn if it kills a creature. Otherwise it attacks, increases own speed and attack for 1 turn, like we stated earlier in the video. The second skill, okay, does damage based on max speed. So this is going to be something that's going to be built relatively fast. This may get the first turn, and if it's built like with a high critical rate, critical damage, he may be able to take out an earth unit if you have a weaker one in your party, okay? And then on top of that, this also has an ability that allows you to drain their HP, and it's equivalent to 50% of its own HP. So notice that this effect right here ignores the defense. So the damage that this can do, getting the first turn and basically sniping a unit, it's super strong. It's super strong. If you have this unit, congratulations, you won the game, okay? So again, this is what I'm talking about. Taking a second to analyze every single match that you do and try to understand what all these units are doing, why they're in the composition you are. I kid you not, you're going to see more often than not just people taking their best natural 3-stars and natural 4-stars and just throwing up in there. But every so often, you're going to run into a team that really understands what their team does, has created synergy for it, and is definitely going to catch you off guard, okay? That's going to be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a share. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.